Hey everyone, I'm Nidoking. Last time on Warrior Within, we opened the door to the throne room, and Kylina has gone ahead of us to see the Empress, so guess I better get on with following her.
Where is the Empress? Where are the sands? What are you doing? You've trapped us in here!
I am sorry, Prince, but only one of us can cheat fate today.
You are the Empress!
I told you to leave, and yet you kept coming back. I began to wonder. If you could change your fate, perhaps I could change mine.
And what that has to do with killing a prince, I don't know. But as you can see, Kylina, aka the Empress of Time, uses the same dual blade style as Shadi.
My blade calls for you.
So you might think you want to fight her the same way. You will die if you attempt it. And not just because I keep hitting the vault button too many times and vaulting in the wrong direction. These poles around the room are there for a reason. You can do your pole swinging attacks from them. I decided not to do that for various reasons. Mostly because I'm terrible at the game. But that's what you want to do. Try to keep your distance rather than attempting to block her combo, because you'll take a lot of damage. And she uses a lot of unblockable attacks. Again, keeping your distance will help. And if you attempt to do an attack combo of your own, she'll usually block that too. After this cutscene, do not attempt to attack her again or you'll just get caught up in a tornado. And she'll summon a couple of guards, which are basically just Crow Knights. Fight them the same way that you fight Crow Knights. They just don't caw as much. Also, I'm trying to keep away from the tornado because it does still hurt. Yeah, it's one down, and the other follows shortly. Of course, you also can't really make a whole lot of use of your sand during this fight for any of your attack techniques. So, if you take too much damage, it's probably better just to rewind and try to block sooner. Yeah, see what I mean about the combos? They're pretty useless. It's just a test of endurance, really. How long can you keep hitting her with a couple sword slashes each time? And taking that final unblockable attack in about half of the combos she does. Hey, thanks for the slowdown to show me a block. I went in way too soon.
I had hoped the Dahaka would kill you. I had hoped Shadi would keep you from the island, or the towers would finish you off. I even cursed the sword I gave you, and yet you did not die!
Why would you do this?
I already told you. I have foreseen my future to die at your hands. But like you, I've decided to change it!
So there we go. Now she finally explains what's been happening for the entire game. And I honestly didn't mean to use Ravages of Time there because, as you can see, it's useless. She can still move, she can still block, and you do almost no damage from the attacks while time is frozen, so... Wasted 2 sand tanks, not that I was using them very productively before that. She's still got something like a third of her life bar, and I'm one hit from death. You know what, this fight just isn't going to end well. No two ways about it. Game over count 2. And this is the one that I deserved. I own this one. But it doesn't put me too far back because I saved right before going into the room. And I suppose this will give me a chance to show you what happens in a cutscene if you've already seen it before, and then restore your game. So let's go ahead and skip through this thing. The pause button is not the button that skips cutscenes. It just runs a bit faster than usual. Okay, take two. I'm gonna try to fight a bit smarter this time. Give Eye of the Storm a chance, which actually is effective. I just took way too long to start using it and used a couple of techniques that don't work. I think the key here is avoiding her long combo and finding your openings to counterattack. And not in the block and hit attack at the right time sense. She's got two ways to follow up her long combo. Actually would have been a good time to rewind, but nobody wants to see that all happen again. When she finishes her combo, she's either going to hit you with an attack that staggers you so you can't counter, or she'll just trip you and you can't block it. So just don't take the hits unless you absolutely have to, and if you're stuck for it, just go ahead and block. You'll take a little damage most likely, but at least you won't take a lot of damage. These are all things I kinda wish I had been doing the first time around. And if she gets too far away, don't stand still. As long as you're moving, you can usually avoid that teleporting kick that she does. There we go. Perfect timing. I get a hit in. She always gives herself a second or two of vulnerability after the teleport kick, so that's a good time to get in an attack. And I think having two weapons is preferable, even though she will block a lot of the combos. Now, we've already seen this. Because at least you can do more dynamic combos than the 4-hit normal attack. And sometimes you can catch her with the spinning blades, like that. Really, this is a battle of doing very little damage at a time, and God help you if you're playing in hard difficulty. I mean, this isn't even the point where I take that handicap I was talking about earlier. I think I'm in pretty good shape here. There we go, entering the final phase. And every time I get caught by the tornado. Good news is it does a tiny sliver of damage. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use the Eye of the Storm here, because I just haven't been using sand, and these guys always give you refills. Speaking of which, if you actually manage to run short of sand because you're, say, rewinding like someone who isn't a dumbass, there's plenty of sand around the room. There's a couple of weapon racks that'll have secondary weapons for you if you use up the ones from those guards. There are just so many things that make this fight easier. I don't know why I'm not using any of them. And that time I expected the trip. I rolled out of the way and right into the next attack. So that's how you rewind during the fight. Take a lot less damage, and we're both down to about the same amount of health now, I think. Don't get complacent right at the end. Wait for a good opportunity. Jump the wrong direction. Jump the right direction.
I mean you no harm, Kylina. But I must finish this.
You are a fool, Prince. No matter what you do, you still fail. Just as I have tried, and just as I have failed.
I am sorry, Kylina. I must return to the present.
And so he does off camera, and we get a random save point right at the end. Go ahead and leave that in, because this one is actually kind of significant.
Despite all the warnings that I would fail, I have vanquished the Empress and prevented the creation of the Sands of Time. I have defeated the Dahaka and fate itself. It's time to find a way off this rock. No, no, no!
Well, actually I just saved. Let's see what happens if we get caught. I've been wanting to show this off since the very beginning. As you can see, I can still rewind time up to a point, but if I let him just hang on to me for a few seconds, he removes my power to rewind, and it is game over. I meant to do that. So alright, after the cutscene fast forwards again, I will actually attempt to escape the Dahaka, which should not be here. Fortunately, like most of the Dahaka chases, it's a pretty straightforward scene. You just gotta figure out which wall to run along. Not a whole lot of challenge to the whole thing. And the Dahaka pretty much always just waits patiently for you to get to a solid ledge.
What is this? I saw the Empress die. She never created the sands. There should be no Dahaka. And yet it still pursues me. What has gone wrong? I am the architect of my own destruction. So this is it. What is written in the timeline cannot be changed. Come for me then. In my quest to destroy the sands of time, I have been the one to create them. We sought the power of the sands of time. Most found only death. Myself among them. But the mask of the Wraith gave me a second chance to travel back through time and change my fate. This mural shows the impossible. But the mask of the Wraith gave me a second chance. There may still be hope. You had your chance to take me. You won't get another.
So we move into the second act of the game, where no longer trying to kill the Empress, the Prince is now trying to get the Mask of the Wraith, so that he can go back and do something other than kill the Empress. And there are still chests, and I just noticed his sword is broken. That's right, it is pretty much completely useless in combat now, but it's the only weapon I've got because I don't have a secondary weapon. And only one way to go from here. Right into the waiting arms of the Dahaka, who's finally found his way in. And this is probably the best of the chase sequences in the entire game. Again, he just kind of politely sits there and waits for me to get to the next ledge, at which point he'll teleport over and keep coming after me. And that was a perfectly dramatic time for me to miss a jump. And now I just fall to my death. I guess this wall is just slightly angled. You can see it from this angle, not from the other one. And we pull out the stone way down this platform, and that causes the tomb in the center to rise a little bit. There's another stone. I'll obviously have to get there and do the same thing. And a third stone. And once we've pulled all of them out, we can reach the door behind the waterfall. Thank you, cutscene. Now I gotta find the stairs, which are on the other side of the room. Of course, the way we went the first time is now caved in, so I gotta go where the Dahaka came from. And the chase continues. And there is a secret over to the left that I missed, which I believe you can only get on your way to go down this corridor. So that'll have to be bonus video material, but at the time I didn't realize how much I had screwed up, and spent the entire next hour or so of the game looking for that secret. I'm not kidding. Not really a whole lot else to say about the Dahaka chase. It's letting you look back and see him standing there watching you do all your wall flippy stuff. This is the part that actually makes me kind of want to get the soundtrack for this game. I've got the Sands of Time soundtrack, was never really interested in this one, but I love this track. And I guess the Dahaka's just gonna sit and stare and hope that I go back towards him, I guess. Seems like he could just come around and come into the room the way that I went out, trap me in here. Seems like a sensible thing to do to me. Oh well, only one big stone slab left to pull out of the wall. And the Dahaka's on my tail just like before. Waited just a bit too late to jump. And this time I'm going to go after that secret. You can just see the weapon rack over on the left side there, but I couldn't get to it in time, and the Dahaka got to me. That's why I'm pretty sure you have to grab it on the way to the corridor on the left, because then you're running straight ahead instead of right back into the Dahaka's arms. Or tentacles, or whatever those things are he's catching you with. But enough about that secret. We'll find out about it later. For now, I've finally raised the tomb to its highest point. Actually, I kind of wonder, you might be able to go back now and get the secret. Because I don't think the Dahaka will follow you again. Oh well, all things to try when I put together the bonus video of all the other stuff I missed. And I know there's plenty of it. This game is full of secrets. So let's put a permanent waterfall between me and the Dahaka. And he desecrated a tomb, too. Does this guy's evil know no bounds? Anyway, having put our old quest behind us, next time we're going to continue on the trail of the Mask of the Wraith, assuming that it's in this palace for some reason. See you then!